Solid Hässliche Erdferkel, never to be counted out. Coming back from their run at Worlds last year. They're a force to be reckoned with. They went toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the world there and did very well. The sun is low and in our faces, but there's not a cloud in the sky and no wind to speak of at all. That's a great inside shot, moving it forward. Weigel catches, swings it back around to the far side of the field. Getting it down the line, but couldn't quite get it in. Florian Venner watches the disc bounce off the floor in front of him, and Pootie with a chance to break here. Good quick movement. Nini on the far side swings it across now. Rantanen. Kat Rantanen played in London with Sick for a while. Inkinen. Low release. Spreading the play. Pootie looking smooth on the disc here. Marburg shirts are too far away to make any impact on the flow so far. Nopenen. Going back through the male handlers now. Hotari. Inkinen sends it deep. It's going to be run down. There's going to be pressure underneath this, but it is caught. One-handed grab at the back of the end zone. Sastamoinen with the break for Pootie.
What a spectacular grab there in the end zone. Phenomenal catch. Just a Hässliche Erdferkel defender right on the toes of that Pootie player. But such a confident take. Second point of the game, and that was fiery. We're going to see a lot more of that out on the field. What I liked about Pootie there was they were really calm and they were stretching themselves out. They were giving each single one of their cutters enough room to cut.
Yeah, it was Inkinen, the supplier as well, and Inkinen in the 30 shirt, and the score by Sastamoinen. Jesse Sastamoinen in the 19 shirt as well. So great take, and those two players connecting well.
I'm just reading some of the little info that each team's brought for this stream, and Sastaman he's quoted as the Jesus kind of beard, but will beat anyone on an opposing team on defense. So certainly proving what they're saying here.
Oh, Marburg, the Hässliche Erdferkel team from Marburg are making mistakes out here. That's a throw that was too low to ground, couldn't be picked up. Pootie with a chance to go 3-0 at the start of this game. Looked for the reset. This time it's available. 2 reset options there for Pootie. Gets it to Elheimo. Oh no, Marburg have got it back. Erdferkel swinging it forward. Hogan now. Hogan spikes it through the air. It's spiraling and taken high. Stefan Doscher with the grab. Lasse Hogan with the hammer. They really exploded after they got the disc back. Quick movement downfield, never stopping for more than 2 stalls, and putting it in at the far end to rescue that. That would have been a big turning point there. 3-0 start for Hässliche Erdferkel would have been crap.
That's double happiness there for Hässliche Erdferkel player, but what an impressive heads up, spatial awareness intercept just to turn the tides there. That's exactly what they needed. They were looking a little rusty out there, and we know it's the first game of the day, the first game of the tournament. So, you know, people can feel a little bit nervous. You never know how you're going to play in that first game. And I think it really sets the standard of the rest of your day, how you perform in this very initial game. If you can come out in these first few points and bring it to the other team, then you're going to be a surefire hot contender.
Yeah, it's been a good start there. Rescuing that disc after they got turned over. But Hässliche have got the pressure on them. Now they get a chance to put their D-line out. They had the D-line out in the opening point of the game. And a catch on the far side. whole field to work with as Janos Shivo dumps back to Inkinen. Down the line to Rantanen. Back to Inkinen. Big pressure stopping that undercut there from Nini. Eventually it goes forward and it goes straight into the hands of Erdferkel player Muller with the grab. But a big return layout dive. Getting the disc back for Pootie is Erkan Nini. And normal service is resumed here. Nini again comes underneath for Inkinen's throw. Spreading the play now. Smooth backhand across field. Rantanen continues the flow. Gets it across now to Leino. Looks to the reset. And finds Shivo. Essi Inkinen comes out of the stack, but there's a pick along the way. And returns the disc to Shivo. Shivo looking for Inkinen. Good handler mark there. Nini spreading it down the field into the far corner and an easy grab. Katarina Rantanen on the far side. Great flow from Pootie, really crisp passing, and no stall count really established from Marburg.
Very confident passes and just waiting patiently for that right cutter to become available. That's what I like about Pootie is they lock eyes on their receiver and they wait for them to get free, but they're not rushing it, they're not trying to force anything, which is what I feel like Hässliche Erdferkel are trying to do at the moment. And I think that's what's causing some of these minor turnovers, a few unforced errors with their throws. It's just that pressure that's mounting, and Pootie just seemed to have it a little bit more under control this morning.
Yeah, beautiful sunshine streaming down here on the field, slightly into our faces. A bit of a chill when we woke up this morning, Hillary, but I think it's going to be a very warm day for the players. Pretty much perfect ultimate conditions.
There's barely a breeze and the temperatures are fantastic right now with this cool morning, so let's hope it doesn't get too hot.
Hässliche Erdferkel sends up a high disc. There's going to be some pressure underneath this, reading it well and knocking it away. No question that that was not the disc that they were looking to pull down. And Emil Wiedemann gets the block for Pootie. It's a couple of times now we've seen Hässliche throw away within the first two passes. Oh, and that's caught a little bit of fingertips as it left and just rescued. Keeping it alive. Sandberg on the far side of the pitch. Bringing it back now to Kallio. Elon Heinemann, backhand into the end zone. No mistake from Tommy Sandberg. And Pootie looking dominant at this early stage of the game.
A very beautiful clean cut from the back of the stack is what opened up that option for Pootie and getting that excellent score on the board. So as you say, Tom, they've just broken away here and they've got a really strong lead at the moment, very early on in the game. I like the way that they're just sort of waiting for those cuts to come available, but
so this team from Finland, Hillary, they come together from two teams that normally play open and women's.
That's correct, Tom.
That's your cue. No?
I thought you had a story
no,
there.
No. I was setting you up for the story.
Well,
maybe.
A very astute fact there, Tom. In fact, that's one of the clinches of this team, this Pootie team, is both
just drifting away from Hogan there, the disc lands in the sand, lands on the grass ahead, and a chance to take another point. A pick has been called, and it'll be brought back. No point this time for Ronnie Hatari, who'd made that cut to who'd sent the disc to the far side. Sasta Moynihan making the cut, calling the pick. And this time, no mistake. Nietzova catching on the front to the end zone, and Hässliche Erdferkel, who at one time was seen as the powerhouse of European mixed ultimate, have been made to look pretty lightweight out here. Pootie's defense forcing them to make throws that really aren't on. Nothing Lasse Hogan could do as he watched that disc drift away into the grass. And they are 5-1 up here to the Finns.
Well, Tom, as you were saying earlier, the Pootie side, both incredibly strong, have pulled together some of the best players from the Finnish female and men's teams. And interestingly, there is apparently only one player on the team who actually knows how to play mixed, according to their fact sheet that they provided us earlier. And that's Emil Wiedemann, who had that huge intercept block earlier on in the point. But I think at the moment they're gelling quite well, and I think that's the test of this team, is whether they can actually have chemistry on field and work those connections and get that flow that you need, that it's so important in a mixed game, which is always slightly different from men to women games.
Yeah, we see the sunshine glinting and giving a halo to the Hässliche Erdferkel players, no doubt. Having time to see if they can work out what to change up here. They were 8th at WUCC last year. We commentated on some of the games from Cincinnati, and they played a very, very high quality ultimate. A bit of a male-dominated play, but they are a mixed team through and through, and they were trying to move it through their women earlier in this game, but at the moment they've not really managed to string very many more than sort of 8 or 9 passes together the whole game. Really struggling against the intensity from Pootie. So coming out of that timeout, Pootie send the disc downfield. Lassi Kallio with the long put, chasing it down hard. Manages to get that first cut away. Now Erdferkel making progress downfield, a big send into the end zone. Who's going to be underneath it? 2 players, bobbles, doesn't quite make the connection. Roman Frings got his hand up, but there was a lot of pressure on the shoulder. Went up for the grab, disappeared into the grass, and that's been the story of the game so far. Just not quite pulling off the types of plays they need to beat this team.
That's a high-risk shot there when you've got a really tight defender like that Pootie player there, and it's one of those things you need to really weigh up in where you are on the scoreboard. You know, Hässliche Erdferkel are now down 4 points. Is that the option that you want, or do you want to play it safe? And that's up to them to make those decisions on the field.
It's very difficult for us to gauge what Marburg are trying to do with the disc in hand, because we've seen it happen so infrequently so far. We've got another chance now. They've got the disc back after what looked like a miscue on the throw from Pootie, and the disc on the far side. Pootie leading this one 5-1 after lots of mistakes from Hässliche Erdferkel. Hogan looking for the reset, gets it back to Venner. Venner gets the disc out eventually to Rumpelt. He's looking for a reset. Hogan's available down the line. That's a good continuation pass. Hässliche Erdferkel, first time in the game they've really got this many passes in a row. The pressure from Pootie has been really intense so far. Front of the end zone, sticks it in. A pass downfield is completed, and Hässliche Erdferkel have got a point on the board. Sorry, second point of the game for them. A couple of their Hässliche players on the field involved in that are unrostered for us. Apologies, we don't know their names.
So Tom, what we're seeing with the Hässliche Erdferkel side might be a reflection of just the nature and change, or the progression in how teams work when you get, you know, it starts out with experienced players and it builds up and they do quite well. I mean, last year at EUCF they did quite well and they went to Worlds, and this year I think there are a few people who have just opted out to play, whether it's just to focus on women's or men's teams, or whether it's just to take a year off Frisbee. And perhaps that's what we're seeing here, is just like a difference in that team dynamic. Perhaps there's not that leadership on the field.
Yeah, certainly a different look for them, but throw away from Pootie gives them another chance, this time on defense, to prove what they can do. Nini was the culprit there, throwing that low shot too low. Wiping the disc off. Starts the play, immediately throws into an intercept. Jano Shivo arrives quickly and just pops it in the front of the end zone. Pootie punishing Hässliche Erdferkel's mistakes at every opportunity. They lead this one 6-2.
An incredible, fantastic intercept there, but just moving so quickly. You know, it's hard to defend in those moments when you're just out of position and just out of that mind focus of getting back into defense. Unfortunate for the Erdferkel side. You really want to see this as a really close match this early on in the game. I mean, we're about 20 minutes in and there's already quite a large gap.
Yeah, it's opening up, and it doesn't really look like Erdferkel have got what it takes to get back into the game at this point. You know, we saw in the previous point they strung together maybe 10 passes to get the score, but that was the first time that they'd done that all game, and then they start with the disc having got the break and turn it over first pass. You know, the pressure that Pootie are putting them on is just not something they can live with. And you know, reflecting on what you were saying about that change of personnel, you know, teams evolving over time. I think we are missing Stefan Doscher from the Erdferkel lineup. Inside shot quickly comes downfield. Weigel gets it back again to Hogan. Tigerman back to Hogan again, spreading the play. That's better from Erdferkel. Oh, one-handed grab doesn't come off. Ulla Prechel's disc across the field was spot on, but Tigerman couldn't collect, and Pootie have a chance as Rekkala walks to the disc, surveys the field, and an easy pass forward into the centre of the field. Moving it well now. Sariola spins the disc across the sky, but it's well picked off. Upfield, Katja Weigel having a good game for Erdferkel. A deep shot's going to be available. Hogan sprints downfield, takes it high. Good read and a good put downfield. Saw Hogan's cut go really early and pops it in the front of the end zone to complete it. Erdferkel stopping the rock with a break of their own. Sorry, not a break of their own, that's their offensive point, isn't it? So 6-3 the score, and doing a little bit better.
That was nicer from Hässliche Erdferkel. First of all, if you start off with that incredible intercept, that was a really nice red disc, and that player just picked it out of the air. That was great pressure on the field, having that spatial awareness. A big huck down the field to clear that space. I think what I'm noticing though is they're trying to focus a lot on one key player and just cycling it through him, and perhaps it's a case of moving through a few other players.
Yeah, no surprises to see Lasse Haugen involved a lot in the 69 shirt. Another chance now for Pootie. Lino. Downfield to Hatari, sends it. Caught at the back of the end zone, no mistake. Sastamoinen with the grab.
The hidden snake in the end zone. It was a very sneaky play because it seemed like he didn't even have a defender nearby him, at least not close enough to even have a glimpse of putting pressure on that disc. Pootie really coming out here with just something a little bit more awoken by just playing really quickly when they have to and then slowing down the pace when they need to. They're just controlling this game.
They look a lot more comfortable and confident in this game. Hässliche not playing at the best of their ability and being forced to make plays, being forced out of their comfort zone. Pootie within one of taking the half. They come out with their defense, which has been very, very effective in this game so far. Disc flying through the still Italian air. Haugen again. Pick called. It's going to come back. Katja Weigel again involved. He's been a big player for Hässliche Erdferkel. And that's the same look he goes for again. Haugen manages to break around. That's a nice disc for the reset. Flows into space. It's going to be picked off and bashed down. And a turnover. Trying to get that handler reset. All the upfield players were marked. The reset was well marked as well. Tried to squeeze something out. Didn't quite happen. The Finns on the march again, exchanging discs with Sandberg. Now it comes back to Sandberg. Looks for the reset. He has Wiedemann available. The pick has been called. The intensity from this Finnish team is really hard to live with. Wiedemann is happy to exchange discs, trying to wait for the space to arrive. Hammer for the reset, a little bit low, but well dealt with by Vannanen. Spreading the play now across to Westman. And a timeout called, second of the half. First of the half for Pootie. And the first sort of midpoint timeout we called. Just struggling to get the flow going, and they've been scoring very, very quickly in this game so far. It wasn't happening for them at that point. Just taking a chance to reset and find out what's going on for this Pootie side.
Yeah, Tom, you said there was an intensity that you could feel, and I certainly think there's a level of energy that is not being matched by the Marburg side. Pootie just bringing it out there on field. I could feel them just getting a little bit more stressed as that point went on. Just there was a lot of cuts coming and they were having to reset that disc a lot. And that's fine because you can take as much time as you want to score as long as you get it in. So I think it was a sound decision to call that timeout just to reset. They got that incredible turnover, that rundown block, which looked just phenomenal. It's just time for them to just set up in their consistent style and just play really, really clinical, which I know they can all do.
Yeah, I think one of the things we saw from Erdferkel last year was their ability to reset the disc was really up there, but they struggled against the Pootie defense. That chase down, and it was a layout block in the end from the Finns. Finnish team are a collection of stars from Atletico, from Espoo in Finland, and Otso, also from Espoo in Finland, and Helsinki Ultimate. So pulling together the best of the Finnish talent for this European season. You see some of our tournament organisers travelling by golf cart around the extensive field. You can see how far they stretch down. Slightly subdued atmosphere early in the morning here, but easy pass, whatever they called in that timeout, worked perfectly for the Finns. They pop it in to take the half, and that is an 8-3 and a very, very strong start in this opening mixed game. So Tom Stiles and Hilary Humes with you for the opening mixed game here from the European Ultimate Championship finals in Carole in Italy. And we will take a short break, back with more analysis towards the end of this half time.
Tom Stiles with 3 Z's, man. What the hell? They heard it on the audio. Oh, it's like the 3 seconds reset.
Ready? I just had a chance to get a little breather during that half-time break. Players wanting to get straight back on with it, and they've only been playing for half an hour. Sometimes halves can be an hour before you get a chance to have that break, but Pootie have been so efficient with the way they've scored these points. They've got straight back on here. What do you think Hässliche Erdferkel are going to have to do, or do you think it's even possible for them to do anything against this Finnish powerhouse team, Hilary?
I'm an optimist, so anything is possible. I think it comes down to just focusing on what they know and what they can control themselves, which is their throws, their cutting, and their defense. So they will not be able to control Pootie, but as long as they put out the right type of shot.
they can keep their flow going, they'll be in a good place indeed. Hilary Humes alongside Tom Stiles here as Florian Venner gets the disc up the line. Better flow. Hugen sends it deep. Just the men involved in this point, and a block. Fingertips from the high reaching of Erkanini, who read that all the way in. And Erdferkel in the past have been a team that do like to play a little bit of dude ball. Just the men involved in that point. Not coming off on this occasion. It's not to say that they've, you know, it was the women causing the turnovers before, because it really wasn't. They were having mistakes from both genders. It's a strong moustache game he's got right there. Straight away, the deep shot goes down. Trying to read it, and does read it. Beautiful grab from Katja Wiegel. Knew where that disc was coming all the way down. And Hässliche Erdferkel have it back. Big bid comes in from Nini, throwing themselves around. And this time it's an error. Picked off by Ronnie Hatari. Hatari looking for options here, running out. Good cut up the line, but it's the swing pass that is the option. Sastamoinen. Hatari has it back. Hatari looks up line. Second option, third option, sends the deep shot downfield. Loads of space down there. Well exploited, and quick exchange of discs. Maja Lino runs on to the disc from Jesse Sastamoinen. The deep shot was made all the ground needed, and a 9-3 perfect start to the second half.
Just an incredible way to punish Erdferkel. Unfortunately, Pootie are just so good. They're always free. They've always got two options. They've always got somebody going downfield. They've got someone coming under. So they're stretching out the defense, and that's like putting a lot of pressure on Erdferkel to apply that defense and stop those passes. You asked if the Marburg side could come back. I don't know now after this point. I'm kind of like, wait, what was I saying? Like, it's really hard to see if that is actually possible.
Yeah, so that disc to Tiegemann, Erdferkel sort of looked like their best chance of scoring with that deep shot taken away from them. Erkanini just devastating in the air. We saw him going horizontal for blocks in previous points as well. But you're right, on their offense, they've got deep threats, they've got under threats, they've got break throws, they've got a swing always available. They're being disciplined in their play and the position as well. They're not going for things which aren't there, waiting their turn, not all just running at once. The Marburg now spreading the play, getting their own flow going a little bit. Hugen. Oh, it's a well-received disc there. It was going low. Threw herself at it. A floaty disc forward. Just enough space ahead of the defender who was face marking. Didn't see it. Both the Finnish players are sort of face marking. Allowing that disc, what they call the German throw. Ironically being played by a German side here. Into space for Hässliche Erdferkel. A much better looking, flowing offensive point from them. Using that clever handler movement and getting it in for a first hold. How long is it since they've held? So they held at 6-3. But yeah.
That was a much better look there from the Marburg side. You know, moving through all of their players, looking for that reset, trying to move quite quickly once they get it, because they know that when the Pootie defense clamps in, it's harder to move as they slow down. So they were trying to keep that pace whilst also trying to maintain possession. I think what worked best as well was they were moving through some other women on their team as well, not just solely focusing on the two male handlers, which they've been predominantly setting up with.
We do need to get the name of the 98 shirt for Hässliche, because she's having a great game out here. She's not on our roster, so she's So we've found our unrostered Hässliche player, Leonie Jasper, who's been playing outstanding in the 98 shirt for Hässliche. Looking downfield, it's a quick shot, and Maria Nopanen runs down that disc and catches for Pootie. Their efficiency and the speed at which they're scoring these points, just bang, bang, bang. We're only not even 40 minutes into this game, and Pootie have already got 10 on the board. Hässliche have been frustrated, and every time they've turned the disc over, Pootie have punished them quickly.
They're not just punishing Marburg, but they're punishing us. They're moving so quickly, we barely have a chance to follow their play and watch this, as you just see this huck go up.
Yeah, the assist there from Hotari, and the reception, Maria Nopanen. Looking confident, aren't they? Looking comfortable, looking like they're enjoying the game. And using all the players as well. You know, we've run down a number of this Pootie side. No obvious player that you could mark out or take out of the game. They're going to be a difficult team to stop. Everyone thought this would be a good first test for them. Erdferkel, you know, 8th place last year's World Championships in Cincinnati. One of the top teams in the world, but being made to look very ordinary by this Swedish mixed powerhouse. Finnish mixed powerhouse, my apologies, that's a bad mistake to make, isn't it? Oh, the throw just didn't quite connect, wanted to float it ahead of Högen a little more. Disc goes to ground. Lasse Kallio comes to pick up again. Float round the back. Susan Soraka. Been quiet in this game so far. The big players for Atletico. Soraka again. Lovely bladey shot to the open player. Break side throw, Rekola. Into the end zone. Going to be a little bit of argy-bargy in there, but just boxing out the position. Tommy Sandberg stays firm. Nothing the Hässliche Erdferkel defender could do. I think Jonas Tigerman was the player involved, and they extend their lead. Another break.
What an incredible read on that disc and just boxing out your player. Sandberg is just such a powerhouse on the field. Like, he's always free, or he's always able to get free. Even if he had 3 defenders on him, it seems like he's just got these magic fingertips. He can just grab that disc. Pootie have certainly taken this game away with themselves, but what's next for Erdferkel? Like, what should they do now in the final moments of this game?
Well, I think they've got to put this game behind them. Maybe work on some of the things. I mean, it would be a Herculean effort to see if they can get themselves back into this game, and I don't think it's possible. So they've got to work on getting themselves into a good place as a team mentally for the rest of the day and the rest of the weekend. Just, you know, maybe try a few tactics, but they've been outclassed here by Pootie, and really impressive to see Pootie putting out a female handler line there. Just recognizing they've got real strength in their female handlers, putting 3 women handling, and it was all the guys going deep. Just changes the look for a mixed team completely. Erdferkel not able to live with it. They're getting a bit of better flow now, Erdferkel. On the far side, Dosha, who's been quiet since the game. I didn't think he was here this weekend, but finds that big disc downfield. Katja Weigel reads it high. She's been the dominant force for Erdferkel, but she needs better supply, and that time when it does arrive, she can take those big discs down using her physical stature and athleticism to get position and get up for it.
Wegel's certainly having a fantastic game, getting intercepts and then getting that score there. She's a very confident player on the field and adding a lot to this Marburg side. But it's interesting, like, you know, you see this is a female scoring now. Is it one of those cases where they just need to move a little bit more through the entire breadth of their team?
Yes, she's an obvious target when she runs deep, getting free with the legs, and then just reading and boxing out the defender. So 11-5. As Erdferkel pull downfield, the big arm of Moritz Müller floats it through the still Italian morning. And the play is with Recola. Straight away looking downfield to acres of space, a very exposed strike from Westman. Westman pops it in. And it's an easy point for Pootie. Vannanen running through. But how much space did Westman have there? She had enough time to settle down, get a deck chair out, and then catch the disc.
And that seems to be the story of this game. There's Pootie players all over the field, just with acres of space, without a defender in sight.
Look at that deep shot downfield. So that's a well-timed cut, using the power as well, and a great follow-up from Tuukka Vannanen, arriving right on time before the defender could get there, just making that easy pass into the end zone. And when it does look this easy, it's sometimes useful to remember quite how hard they're working to make it look this easy. You know, Erdferkel are no slouches. They may be in a bit of a hole mentally at the moment. Might be struggling to put the same intensity on defense that they would in a closer game. Ooh, fingertip grab there. High grab from Venner. Venner looking downfield. Big cut from Frings. Frings takes it high. Big height mismatch between him and Shivo. And Nini not so much, but he rose above both of them and took that big grab down. Better from Erdferkel.
Yeah, I didn't like their passes. They were very risky, but it worked, didn't it? And that's all that matters in these situations. You see this high grab after a fingertip catch earlier on, and this big huck with two Pootie defenders underneath, but they don't have that height.
It's a very small margin, very small window they're throwing into there with two defenders. Any error on the throw, any error on the catch, and that's a turnover. But this time it comes off, and you know, when you are up against it, maybe going to those higher risk, lower percentage options is the only thing you can do.
It could be, and they do have the advantage of a little bit more height. I know some of their players can get up there and leap up into the sky with quite a little bit of ease, so perhaps that is something that they need to do, just huck and hope.
Lower percentage, higher risk. Yeah, I think that might be an option. I've seen teams win games by just coming down with everything and throwing everything. Teams, you know, beating on paper much better teams who are playing a safer game just by taking that risk. Pootie being forced sideways and backwards at the moment by the Hässliche Erdferkel zone, and then exposing the space behind that front line, and now Pootie can run it through. Good position from the defender, just taking away the options and forcing Pootie to go back around. Getting it out to the far side. Vestman through the little gap, nice low disc to Elo Heinemann. And into the front of the end zone, Susan Saraka, that cross field front to the end zone cut. Erdferkel rescuing this game. They've traded out the last 4 points, so the score at one point was it 10-4, 9-3, was looking a bit of a disaster zone for Erdferkel. 11-4 I think was probably where it was at its worst, but getting it back to 13-6 is a bit more respectable. Only a bit.
Barely, but I think this game is well and truly settled, and we can confidently say Pootie has just come out here with what could be one of the best starts to the tournament.
Yeah, they've got Pootie in the same pool as Discover Lisboa, leftovers, deep space from London, Smog 2 and Hässliche, but this was likely to be the close match from that group. Discover Lisboa, a strong side, but they've been had a ruling about their rostering. They picked up 6 players from outside of their regional qualifying team, which is against the rules. They're only allowed to pick up 5, and so they will not be able to make semis. So that basically means that leftovers, deep space, Smog 2 and Hässliche are all competing for that second place spot in the pool. That's a poor choice from Hässliche into the ground. Tigerman the target. It's not come off this time. Inkinen. Inkinen always looks just so comfortable on the frisbee field. It's just confidence flowing from her. Great cut from Nini. He has been a dominant force, rescuing a very high stall count. Scuba, not an easy catch, but grabs and then just looks up, pings that sidearm into the end zone. Great work. Within 1 of the game here, Pootie dominating. It was Nini with the assist, and who was it that made the score? It's a high stall count. That replay. Good positioning. Look, he's not too close to the disc. Really makes the thrower think about the option. There's that high grab from Nini and into the end zone. And it's Jester Sastamoinen. So Jesse Sastamoinen with the point. Erdferkel coming out on offense, trying to stay in this game. Pootie trying to get it done within the hour. If they can get this block, might just do it. Little Oyo flick to Rumpelt. But again, the defense arrives, the upfield options are removed. Hässliche, the body language says, I just don't know where to throw. All the options have been taken away. Pootie's defense is stifling everything that Hässliche have got, and then they have to long shot downfield, just guards it down into the ground. Susanna Saraka just watches the disc ahead of her, doesn't need to make a grab. Just no way through the Pootie defense there from Erdferkel. You saw the shrug of the shoulders as he looked downfield, and no options available. Beautiful scenes out here from the airport fields in Carole. Swing pass to the far side. Sandberg sends it deep, chasing it down for the game. A perfect start as Inka Westman brings down the final disc of this game. A dominant performance by this Finnish superstars from Espoo and Helsinki. Pootie, opening game winners here on the Fancy stream. Hillary, what a brilliant performance from the Finns.
What a great way to start the day off. Pootie outclassing Hässliche Erdferkel and just showing how incredible they can be as a joint force. This mixed team certainly has what it takes to make the finals, and it'll be really exciting to see them progress through this tournament. What have we got coming up next, Tom?
So we're going to have a little break now because that game's got done so fast. We're here on Fancy and on YouTube here on Field 4. Next game coming up on this field will be Cosmo Women from Slovenia versus Brilliance from Russia, with Hannah Pendlebury and Christina Obermeyer on that one for you. And then on the other Fancy field, Is No Good and Mooncatchers. Well, so if you want to and you have a Fancy subscription, you can whip over straight away right now, because on the field behind us still going on is Discova Lisboa versus Deep Space from Great Britain. And that is currently 11-7, I believe. So a close game for those two teams. And we've been given some nice coffee to finish off our morning game. So Pootie, they're a force to be reckoned with in this mixed division. Will we see them later on in the tournament? I've no doubt we will. From myself, Tom Stiles, from Hillary Humes, and all of our Ulti.tv crew, thank you very much for joining us here in Italy. We wish you a good morning, and we'll catch you again on the stream soon.